Good. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It feels like a minute since I have been on the doctor's chat. I am Dr. Greg Eckel.
It is Dr. Jonathan Nadal.
And this is the What the Health, the Doctor's Chat. And today we were brainstorming on, I've been talking a lot about longevity and what that means to me as a provider, practitioner, and just life in general. So this is leaving a legacy, a life worth living. And when we're talking about longevity, because we've done multiple segments on different facets of this, we really wanted to unplug, unpack, and explore this concept together. And, you know, is it longevity just, are we just afraid of death? Is it that, you know, what is going on with that? Can the planet sustain that? Like oftentimes people say, oh, we're overpopulated and you can't live longer because the planet can't sustain that. I don't buy that for one moment, just FYI. But really, what is the purpose? What is our purpose? What is our unique ability, you know, couched in it? So first, no further ado, I want to just say thanks, Dr. Nadal, for coming on and having this conversation.
My pleasure.
And carrying the torch and the banner of the doctor's chat with you and Dr. Ludenia. When we say leaving a legacy and a life worth living and purpose and passion, couched in the longevity front, what say you?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot on mindset and really just intention for what we're each doing with our day-to-day lives and how we come together as a community with our family, friends, and even in our professional life, artistically and beyond. You know, we think of a legacy, it's like, well, and that's kind of how our conversation sprung up recently. It's like, you know, what people in society or in time and history are we still saying their names? You know, who will be saying your name and in what context? How will you live on beyond your generations, right?
Yeah, that component, you know, there's the cute movie Coco was the name.
Mm-hmm.
And we just passed the Day of the Dead, the Day of Remembrance, calling in our ancestors' names. And the movies, I enjoyed the movie. It's an animated movie. If you haven't seen it, I think it is worth it even through the holidays. Take a look at it with your friends, family, kids. It's about, you know, our ancestors that have removed themselves out of these meat packages, these meat bodies, and are living in the spirit world. And, you know, the Day of the Dead, they get to revisit the land here of the living, unless the families or the lineage no longer celebrates them or shares their name or posts a picture in the movie. And it really got me to thinking around the whole concept of longevity. It's not just living longer because it's a number, or like I lived the longest on the planet, or I've amassed more toys and materials than anyone else. It really, to me, it serves in the fashion and really couching in wisdom and sharing. You know, at Be Vital, we awarded a centenarian, which is someone who lived over 100. We gave Gene England, Mr. Gene England of TR England Trucking, that we named a Centenarian Award after him. And it's the Centenarian Gene, and his name is spelled the same way as you spell Gene. Mm-hmm. And he's 103 years old. He just got married 2 years ago at 101. And he is still full of life. He shared stories with us. It was truly a blessing and an honor to honor this man and his life. He is like the pinnacle of philanthropic, if I can even pronounce it. And basically shared a story from World War II, 76 years ago, and he was given a bronze medal for saving a colleague's life. another friend's life out on Okinawa in Japan. And, number one, he shared, war is hell. It's the last resort, should never be used. And number two, this country is worth fighting for, America, beyond just the thought of it. But, our ancestors and those that came before us in the United States literally gave their lives for this freedom. And to see what we're doing with it today, it may be a little disheartening to those that, he was out with a troop of 163, and it's like basically 34 of them made it home. And, so he saw things that none of us should ever see. Here he is at 103, recanting the story from 76 years ago, full of life, just beaming, he and his wife. So that made me think, okay, this man is leaving a legacy. But beyond just trucks with his name on it across the country, but all of those families, all of the families that are in his company, and how that has trickled into the economy, into community, into creating some amazing lives for so many people because of the business that he created. And, what kind of legacy are you leaving or living? And how do you want your legacy to live on through your children, through community? Maybe it's through things that you donated that are, service centers to community. So it really informs today's discussion around, what is legacy? What are we talking about when we want to live for a long time and longevity? And then couching that in our, lineages of Chinese medicine and what we learned and what we can bring. And I'm going to just start like piggybacking on the Mr. Gene England's story, is around this concept of the preciousness of life, right? We have to realize we won the lottery. It was 1 in 500 million chance of getting here, into this life, being born. And to not treat it as a miracle, as the true miracle as it is, of like mundane, of like, oh, there's no good TV shows on, or, wherever we go with our mindsets of like, how ridiculous do we get? Like, and I know this firsthand on, losing loved ones. And, I've shared many times on the podcast around how the process with Soraya leaving her body way too early at 43 years old, it ripped me open as a human. It definitely created a lot of sorrow, sadness, grief, loss, heartache, heartbreak. And it also, in such a lovely way, reinstated my faith in unity consciousness, in the more love on the planet, on really the preciousness of life, because we don't know how long we're going to be here. And so to not feed our souls, feed our mind, feed our bodies, to have these things thrive, like we haven't even been taught on how powerful we are and what we're capable of. And so as we age and as we honor our elders, really gathering their stories and their history and their insights and their wisdom, that component of extending our lifespans in a qualitative manner, really, I think, will enhance the experience for all of humanity and connection to planet. And so I'll stop gabbing there. I can just go on one monologue, but that's no fun. What does that percolate or bring up for you, Dr. Nadal?
Oh, a lot. Even just to take it backwards from what you're saying, you made me think of, even as human beings, how important we've clearly made it to pass on like transgenerational knowledge, We think of things like libraries or building or massive architecture. Like clearly we want to remember some things, right? Not just what your parents or grandparents told you, but we really want to reach through the illusion of time and have an impact on the people around us generations from now. And there's not really a whole lot of species that do that, right? Transgenerational knowledge. So it's a fascinating, unique aspect to our, what I'll say, like concentrated form of consciousness, and it's a gift. So, and it's something that we need to honor and handle with care. So when it comes to how that translates to even just day-to-day living, you know, we've talked before about things like gratitude, you know, just really opening up to everything that the universe is giving you every moment. And that feeds into mindset. Because any moment of any day, and we can, whether you're frustrated about a show that's not playing or you're frustrated about a loved one that's gone, it's really like, what emotions or feelings are you going to navigate through to take you to the other side of that and learn something greater and learn something deeper and give back to the world and universe around you, right? So, I mean, yeah, we can go all over with it because it really does kind of permeate a lot of different thoughts and ideas. But I think one of the things that I want to go back to that you were talking about, even when it comes to thinking of ancestors, and whether it's in a wedding, you know, that's something that we have both been thinking about lately. You know, even setting up a cute little table with like pictures of your grandparents if they're not there, you know, or even thinking of a famous quote or saying that your great uncle said that changed the way that your dad did business, and maybe that impacted you and it changed the way that you approached 100 things in your life. Like there's small precious things that we kind of live through day to day that are meaningful. But then if we take that and scale it up, how is it that we're going to leave an impact on the society and world around us? You know, you mentioned the gift of just health centers and clinics where people can thrive and actually experience wellness and rejuvenate again. I feel like that's a beautiful mission and goal and aim and legacy to leave, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, that's
you know, it really touches on like mantras that have been withstood the test of time. You know, Om, these sounds or the energy centers of the body, or our whole, you know, medical component with Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Again, a whole system that has withstood the test of time. It's iterated and changed, but it's still here. And those ancient texts that we learned in our schooling and still reference to this day, or even, you know, more not simple, but, you know, prophetic would be songs that we remember, or songs that have been playing. You know, we have music from before, you know, the turn of the century and before, that has really withstood the test of time of playing that energy that was created from a unique being that arrived. And, you know, all of us, you know, as we go into the holiday season, it sometimes becomes, it can be depressing for so many people because of the expectation and what it's supposed to look like. But really carrying this thought that, no, you listening, not you, Dr. Nadal, but you too, but you listening, viewing this, you're uniquely here. You incarnated, you made it through the amazing birth process of life. You made your 1 in 500 million chance of being here. And really my encouragement through, as we go into this seasonal adjustment of shorter days, because it's, you know, not as much light outside, of lighting a candle and being contemplative and slowing down and turning within, you know, that old Cat Stevens song of The Answer Lies Within, of asking the questions of yourself, because you are more than enough. Even though you may not feel like that, just getting into those practices of asking the questions of yourself rather than looking outside. I mean, you know, when we get on the internet and mainstream media and just the madness that is out there on manipulation and divisiveness and, you know, othering of large swaths of people, it's like, why is that happening out there? It is to keep us distracted. And ultimately, when we come together and know in our hearts what we're doing here, it the change that we all want, know, and desire from our heart space of more love on the planet, more sustainability, more abundance for all, where all ships rise, where everybody gets to go. It's not just some, and having that ability and couching that in a longevity discussion on this unique ability on you are uniquely here. And, you hear Wayne Dwyer say, please do not die with your gifts still within you. Like, share it with the world, whether that be poetry or song or art, or maybe it's just, you're a great connector and you're thinking of somebody. Take a moment over the next, we have 4 days off in the United States coming up here. Take a minute and think of 5 people and just ping them like, hey, I'm thinking of you, wondering what you're up to. Sending you love or sending a hug or whatever the thing is you say. But, oftentimes when you do that little experiment, people come back with like, wow, I haven't heard from anybody in a year. Thank you so much. And it is meaningful and an impact, and you're leaving that legacy, that energetic imprint of you, your gift of you in the universal structure. So, I think obviously, we ramble on what the health, but I think it's interesting where we find ourselves sometimes in the weeds around couching those conversations then in more of a structured component. And, I think let's get into that Chinese medicine lens with regards to, because we're not the first humans on the planet to be talking about longevity, and looking at the Chinese medicine lens of human, what it means to be human.
Yeah, so the neat part is that there's not really a lot of separation between it, as far as like humanity, earth, heaven, how we kind of, and the greater idea of what heaven is, regardless of Gates or anybody sitting up there. It's more like just what lies beyond earth, and then humanity standing right between it. And even the Chinese ideograms and pictures, like you can actually see almost like, oh, they're talking about above, below, and in the middle, sort of, right? And where we relate to that central pivot on Earth, because like you said, like this fleshy human suit, like we are more condensed energy in this material form to carry out our mission. But that is kind of the lens that they see it, where it relates to all those levels. Now, taken further, of course, through the lens of Chinese medicine, going back more through Taoism, because I think that's really the source of a lot of Chinese medicine, more through Taoism and shamanic practices ultimately, where everything from trees to humans to the plants they use, the minerals as herbs, everything as we age and treat more and more patients, it seems like there's more of a meta, like bigger picture understanding. It makes me think of all the details that you get lost in when you first start practicing anything, whether it's an instrument or medicine. But over the years, you start to see patterns and systems arise. And it's kind of like, eventually you can see it from miles away. And I think that is ultimately understanding the Tao and the movement behind every good or bad condition or disposition or emotion that is ultimately the way that Chinese medicine seeks to achieve it. And that being said, when it comes to even like, is more for fun, but from human to earth to heaven, even the way that they organize the herbs, like remember herbal medicine, where it was like, there's the 3 main categories where you had the herbs for like day-to-day uses or like cut or sprain. And then you had the mid-grade herbs that were more like formulas to really help with deeper conditions. But then the top level herbs were more alchemy, like it didn't always go well, but I mean, like different metals and that was really to try and embody the sense of spirit in this physical form, right? Which to me is fascinating. It's like, okay, something you say often enough, and it's true, no one gets out of here alive, and that's fine.
Yes.
but just to bring it full circle, then how best are we going to thrive, whether it's 103 and own a trucking company, or maybe 127 and have 8 clinics throughout the world? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
it's going to be a different story for everybody, but how we approach it and how we, with grace and ease and creativity, how are we going to approach it is what makes each of us special. But I think the spark of Chinese medicine lies in that, like recognizing the individual within society, on the planet, under heaven and through heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's the fun component of what we're doing and why we came to the planet at the time that we did.
Mm-hmm.
I think the quality of the questions we ask each other and of ourselves matter. A lot of times when you get into a discussion around longevity and you say I want to live to 150 years old. Well, number one, I'm not really going to care if I don't make it to 150 because I won't be here. Right. So number two, by putting that forth, your behaviors start to change immediately. And because I've had the honor of sitting with 90-year-old and 100-year-old humans, and they say, without a doubt, had I known I was going to live this long, I may have taken a little bit better care of myself. And so that I listen, right? And so it doesn't mean that I don't have cocktails over Thanksgiving. But it also does mean I'm going to do some saunas and some EWAT and some detox, because that's what you do to maintain the frame. Mm-hmm. And to really be embodied in the vessel so that we can receive the higher signaling, the receptivity of these are really phenomenal
machines
suits that we get to inhabit for a little while. I mean, it is a gift. And so really treating it that way and with that mindset, that allows, I think, for the ease and flow and grace on how do you make these changes? Because oftentimes, and I don't know about you, Dr. Nadal, but when you start talking about diet, movement, sleep, hygiene, people, they just look at you like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, there's some shoulder shrugging and head scratching for sure. Yeah.
And so, but our passion and our purpose comes from, the ability to help as many people as we can achieve an optimal wellness through a really amazing integrative care, more naturally bent medicine and support system, and now bioenergetics. And so, really looking at it, if you're not living the life that you love, you've got depression, anxiety, past history of trauma, maybe PTSD, fatigue, autoimmune conditions, even cancer or neurodegeneration, all of these symptoms that our body gives us are like little flags saying, pay attention to me, I'm out of balance. And you can choose to medicate them, or as John Lennon says, whatever gets you through the night is all right. I do quote a lot of rock and roll. However, they really solidified it. But at the same time, we don't want you doing destruction to yourself or others. And so getting to a point where you're living in your heart, in brain and heart coherence, and admitting that frequency in this 3D reality, it really does make a difference. Gandhi always said, be the change that you expect to see in the world. And wow, he's a hero of mine, and he is really a wise man, right? Because I mean, I even think back to the stories that I read of Jesus, and he would walk through villages and people for 30, 40 miles would be healed because of the frequency of his being. And whether that be true or not, I think the vision and the image of that is something that where I'm going with frequencies and light of what we're doing, of how do we affect change on the planet for the better? How do we live and inhabit on our Mother Earth and really honor our home, because it is really phenomenal out there. But if we have no sense as far as what our environmental footprint is, what we're doing, how we're tied into the economy, how that treats other people, you can see the charge of the naturopathic doctor is to treat the root causes of dis-ease, an illness. Well, that's environmental destruction. That's environmental toxicity. That's in our mindsets, thinking that this is an expendable wasteland that we can just go to Mars and inhabit a new planet. I'm all for space exploration. And I also think we have a really beautiful planet that is not beyond disrepair. And we haven't even tapped into our full glory and greatness as, healing beings. And so this I couch in a longevity legacy discussion, because it is around, we know longevity is, loneliness is worse than smoking for our bodies. And community, when you look at those 7 blue zones, it was just areas on a map that were circled in blue. Community was high ranking top 7 component for living a long life. And when you think about it, it's much more fun to do that in community where everybody can, you have shared stories, or maybe there's, younger, it's not everybody the same age, aging at the same rate. It is community, meaning you have older folks and you have younger folks and you have children, and it's the whole hodgepodge of community where it's way more dynamic for us. It's more enjoyable, and it's also better for our hearts.
Yes. 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 I mean, and better, there's so much there. So better for our hearts. Yeah. And just what you were saying before too, like seeking within, but also, especially this time of year, like on the notion of community. And I mean, I think it's ironic when they say this is the most wonderful time of year, or whatever the song says.
Yeah, that's it.
Because it's dark and it's cold, right? So what the heck are they talking about? Well, I think the magic is in the community. Like, I feel like, regardless of the reasons they say that, it's really community and family. Like, find the light within you and within your home and community, and let that shine as bright as possible through this darkness. And maybe that's what they're getting at, right? Yeah. Not your ideal Amazon wish list, but hopefully more likely the love that can be shared with family and community, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because whatever it is that we're building, there's if you're going to dream a little dream with someone or your family, I mean, somebody said without love and a dream, it will never come true, right?
Hey, I like it.
So all those things come together in that. Now, so where do we go from here? I mean, I do want to bring up, because we brought up before, this idea of Ikigai.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah,
this is perfect.
It's the Japanese concept that, like, reason for being, and so many people will go to school, get this job, and maybe keep this hobby, or forget this or forget that. And then I forget this movie that said nothing's worse than in a life than a wasted talent, or something like that. It's like from the 90s, but it's the same thing that you were kind of saying. We all have our talents and gifts, but what I love about Ikigai is that it'll blend passion and mission and vocation and profession. So it's better to look it up. It's on a great little diagram that you can kind of go through, but what you love and what the world needs serves as the mission, as your mission, right? What you love and what you're good at is more your passion, right? And then what you're good at and what you can get paid for is more the profession.
Yes.
And then what the world needs and what you could be paid for is the vocation. So in this structure, passion, mission, profession, and vocation can all be blended as Ikigai, because there you derive meaning and purpose to carry on day to day. And there's nothing more rewarding than that. And there's that idea that if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, right? So true. And there's nothing to retire from, because you're really loving every day. To wake up, I mean, that's the trick, right? To wake up with giddy anticipation to see how the mystery unfolds for you on a day-to-day basis, with maybe a North Star or a guiding principle that you're going for. I mean, it's, I used to joke as a teenager. I remember my Uncle Ralph is really influential being in my life, really successful, great family, businessman. And I knew I drove him nuts. He said, well, if you don't
know where you're going. You have no goals or purpose. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I just go wherever the wind blows me, blah, blah, blah. It's like so young. Dr. Greg. I wasn't even a doctor. I was just like a teenager punk. You know, when you think you know everything about everything. And, you know, there is the Yogi Berra quote of, you just watch out. If you don't know where you're going, you might wind up there. And so how people might be saying, well, okay, that's great, docs, but you know, how do you figure out what your purpose is or what your passion is? And you know, because I got to put food on the table. I'm working, you know, I'm busy. I have no time in the day. It's that component of busyness that I really want to call into our awareness. And what we have awareness of, we can change because we're aware of it. If you don't have awareness of it, forget about it. You're on autopilot. You know, the 86% of your thoughts you had yesterday are happening again today. And if we're expecting the world to be different tomorrow, that's a pipe dream because there's no awareness about it. You're not even cognizant of what your state of being is now. So, I mean, you know, one example would be, okay, well, how do you start? Well, you start right now. Like, okay, let's just take a breath together. Let that out. We're going to do another breath. Let that out. And how about a third? Because I like threes. And let that out. And you might notice, oh, I have a little bit clearer mind. I have less tension in my shoulders. I feel lighter. I might have a little bit more calm sensation in my body. Just like that, by taking 3 breaths. So there's ways, and there's been kind of tricks or patterns handed down to us that has withstood the test of time. Breath work, the breath of life. It's the first thing we do when we come into the world out of our mother's bellies or vaginas, of depending on how you were born, via C-section or natural vaginal birth. The first breath starts the heart beating and the circulation, and that's when life begins. You know, some will argue, okay, you know, around it starts by the time the egg and the sperm meet. Well, that is also true. However, the physiology of this body starts at that moment in time, and that it's in Chinese medicine, it's in Western medicine. So breath work to me is essential work for us because, one, it's free. You can do it anywhere, anytime. You don't need anything other than your awareness. And we all have that responsibility, response-ability to do that for ourselves mainly, but also for our loved ones, because that's how we get to this point of a discussion of thriving, of how good could it get as we age? Are we able to age backwards? I know in my 5th decade of life on the planet, I feel pretty darn good. Yeah, I've had some hard times, hard knocks, losses, grief, sadness, all of that. And as my dad likes to say, it beats the alternative. You know, having a birthday, it does beat the alternative of not having a birthday, right? It's a simpleton dad philosophy, but I love that one. So thank you, Dad. So, you know, on the leaving of the legacy, so it means getting quiet, getting still with yourself, asking your heart, what do you need? You know, if you don't know what your purpose is or passion, that's okay. You may never discover it, but if you haven't been asking yourself the question of what lights you up, what makes your heart beat, you know, what gives you joy? I've been getting in the habit of asking people, well, what brings you joy? They look at you like, what are you talking about? You know, especially during the pandemic, it was like, we're not allowed to have joy this year. Haven't you seen the news?
Yeah. It's true. I mean, and people really start to live life when they face death. That sounds kind of grim, but no. I think even taking death in different forms, like just these pivotal transitions that we all experience in life, like what are we going to take from them? How are we going to feel with them? What meaning are we going to derive from it, right? Because we know that meaning in many ways is what's going to create the backdrop for emotion. And more emotions are going to give us the quality of life, right? And to take that further, most of us have habitual emotions. And so, like you were talking about, 86% of your thoughts, but not just thoughts, also habitual emotions. If we're always stuck in the same wheelhouse of maybe a dozen emotions that we cycle through, depending on what's going on around us, we're going to stay stuck in that hamster wheel until we just jump out of it and maybe look at the owner and jump out of the cage as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, really just facing your emotions and thoughts like head on. And I think things like meditation and some of these more ancient techniques and practices that have stood the test of time, like you said, that are free, help us to kind of calm and quiet the mind, change the thought, change the emotions, change our reactions, and change our reality ultimately. Right?
I love that. Yeah, that's the formula for change. You know, I just did a meditation this morning of Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's called Changing Boxes. And the component of, you know, his techniques, if you guys are interested, let us know. We do have some discount codes, and we're not affiliated, but I love his work. I think he's doing amazing stuff on the planet. But it's around in a meditative state of becoming no one, going nowhere, being no thing, out of time, out of space, and creating basically the void of, you go back to source, which is when you close your eyes. We actually are multidimensional beings. We can do that, right? When you close your eyes and imagine, actually, I'll just invite you to do it with me. Let's do a real quick exercise. Imagine the space on the right and left side of your body and just go as far as your mind will take you, further, 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 even a little further than that. And then now I want you to go in front and behind you as far as you can go with your mind's eye to the edge of the universe, and the universe at the edge is expanding. And so just imagine you're out there on the very edge of where the universe is creating into basically that, you know, there's nothing beyond that. So you're going there. And then we're going to go above our heads and below our feet and go in those two directions, up and down, as far as you can go, while keeping, you know, feel your butt on the seat, or if you're laying down, just feel your body laying there. So don't go that far, but keep going a little bit further up and down. And then I want you to think about, at that point, you know, just bring an emotion into your awareness of a high emotion. Maybe it's bliss or joy or love or feeling embraced and cared for. And just breathe that in and breathe that out. Really settle it in, get that emotion in there, and experience it, of bliss or joy or love or feeling loved and embraced. And let that out. We're going to do one more of that. Breathing in and breathing out. And then slowly open your eyes. But before you open them, I want you to think of who is going to open their eyes, because you just went to the edges of your consciousness and your awareness, really out of your body to the edge of the universe and a little bit further. And so you're in a spot of limitless possibilities. Anything could be the reality when you open your eyes up. So with that love, bliss, or joy emotion, just think about, and you just keep it to yourself, of what comes to mind of who do you want to be when you open your eyes up. And go ahead and open your eyes and bring that being into this holiday season. That's who I want to see walking around in this world of ours. And just remember, you created that. Nothing outside of you. There was no substance. There was no supplement. There was nothing to drink. There was not really any movement other than just some thoughts in your mind. And that was like under 2 minutes of going there. So that aspect, we are multidimensional beings, and we're talking about longevity. And in that conversation, legacy of what are we doing here? So, I want to be a change agent. That's one of my things. Love beamer, leading with open hearts. Somebody asked me the other day well, what sets your centers apart, Dr. Eckel? I said, well, we're leading with open hearts, and we're witnessing people's processes, and we're doing it with cutting edge therapeutics through an ancient lens. But it is this special sauce, or the unique ability is really bringing our hearts back into medicine, into encounters, sharing our presence, like deep listening. Like, when is the last time you've experienced that? Do you have anybody that you can do that with? So, I love playing with these techniques, and actually beyond just playing, experiencing them. So this was my long-winded story to say I did changing boxes meditation this morning with Dr. Joe Dispenza. There's a piece of it right there. So that's I will give full credit to Dr. Joe Dispenza on his changing boxes meditation. And I want you to tune into his work, because he's masterful at it. That it's an hour-long meditation I did this morning. Sometimes I do 30 minutes. Sometimes I do 10. Sometimes I do an hour and a half. Sometimes I do 4. I find it essential, where in the past meditation was a drudgery. It was like, I'm dragging myself. Look at me, the martyr. I'm going to meditate, but now it's like my body wakes up before the alarm, like a little puppy that's ready to go out for their walk. It's like, will you take me there? I love that space, that regenerative space. So, my encouragement when we're talking about longevity, we can see the future and creating that future in a meditative space, in that nowhere, no thing, no time, no body, going to that void and transmitting the information, the emotion, and then allowing yourself to drift back into the body. It is the fountain of youth, as far as I've been able to tell. It is exhilarating. It makes you giddy sometimes with excitement of like, wow, how does this mystery, this gift of life unfold? Rather than what are they selling you on the radio and TV and on the internet is a bunch of blah, right? We're getting manipulated into emotions that shut down our prefrontal cortex and limit our creativity. They actually limit our power. And that's the fun part of what we're doing here, why we've created the doctor's chat platform for you all, is to really bring this stuff forth and see, can we accelerate the change of where we all want to be, right? It's not in this divisiveness. It's not in, the struggle. It's not in death and destruction. It's really on, basically love blossoming lotuses and flowers and, reveling in our senses and our bodies and the sounds of birds and the beauty of flowers and music and friendships and community and discussions. So, I want to invite everybody, please get into dialogue with us. Leave your comments here. Tell us what you think about this. How about for you? What is your legacy? What did this bring up for you? We want to hear from you. So let's get into dialogue as we get this thing rolling here. All right. I'm passing the baton over to Dr. Nadal.
No, wherever focus goes, energy flows, right? We've said it in different ways. Just remember that thoughts are the language of the brain, and emotions and feelings are more the language of the body. So the more we kind of sync those up and recognize what's going on and flip the script a little bit, it's infinitely worth trying. Yeah.
On that note, so affecting change, right? Because this is really all airy-fairy. This is awesome. We went to some great spaces, but how do we make it last? So that component of, what's in your body, emotions stored in your body, your history stored in your body. This is a component why I think a lot of folks get stuck in anxiety and depression, because most of the therapeutics, whether it be a medication just to dampen experience or information coming into system, or it's all on talk therapy of I've processed it intellectually, but it's still stuck in their cells. How do you want to talk into that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different forms of therapy, and even some of these like psycho-spiritual practices, like all of them are really good tools, but it's never going to be a one size fits all, right? I mean, some people through different somatic therapies, for instance, can be really beneficial. I love even like, for instance, like the Qigong work that we do. I feel like I can talk to someone for 2 hours, but if I do some Qigong for 10 minutes, I might equally feel just as good, because our emotions are not just up here, our thoughts, like these are real vibrations going on in our bodies, right? Like even though polarities and the shifts in our organs and different systems and networks, like it's a real thing. We're electric, so we need to introduce different vibrational frequencies into our practices. I do think that's really beneficial. And you're right, it's not something that you just do once and it's fixed. It's not, even just what you mentioned about, talking it through and reprocessing it, like even some trauma work, like, guess what? Maybe it's not good to talk about it again and again and again and again. And it needs to be processed in a different way, some like abstract painting or consistent writing, some divination practice, whatever it is, it can take the shape of every individual differently, but it's important to explore those possibilities.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it. Let's wrap it.
Yeah.
Everybody, This is What the Health. Dr. Greg Eckel.
Dr. Jonathan Nadal.
If you like today's show, please share us with your friends and family. Just click the share button. Tell them why you're sharing it with them and what made you think of them. I also want to just remember that little assignment earlier of just thinking of 5 people through the holidays, ping them. Say, hey, they come to mind, just reach out and say something. It could be something small, however you want to do that. But let's play with that and see, let's feed it forward and see what comes back to us. All right. If you love the show, give us a 5-star rating. Also, tell people what you liked about the show. It really does make a difference. People want to see, well, why do I want to listen to these guys? So if you're loving the show, please share us. Give us some 5 stars out there, and we look forward to seeing you next time on What the Health.